Welcome. This is going to be the deep dive of the recent fraudulent load we hauled for our load boss company. So happy to be here in the drama and trauma booth. Wow, look at this. This picture of me here. Oh my goodness. It looks like it was taken today, but in reality that was 15 years ago when we got married. Isn't that cool? All right. Well, yeah. So the day this happened, man, I had so many emotions running wild as I was on the way back. I didn't even have all the facts. So it last night was the first night I had the real good night's sleep from all of this. This all happened Thursday. So we're gonna jump into the deep dive. You saw the preview video, so this is it. So let's dive in. The day started out as a normal day. We get booked on the load. She gets me the RC, and the guy calls. Or now the RC says, call ahead. So I call the guy. The bill of lading ends up showing just this personal guy's name, Michael Freeman, over the top of the address for both the shipper and receiver. So when I called him, I'm like, hey, what am I looking at here? Where am I going? Is this a store? Is this a residence? It took him twice for me to ask for him to actually answer, but he brushed it across as, yeah, the first address is a store. The second one is a job site. Okay, cool. That was a slight red flag to me, but nonetheless, we're in touch. He's in touch. We're on the phone. This isn't text message, and everything seems normal. So I'm telling him, yep, I'll be at the shipper at 10:36 a.m. So, it was one of those things that was good. In hindsight, you didn't know this was a red flag, but I did. I was curious about it up front. Nonetheless, he's touching base. We're on our way. I get to the shipper, and the building says metal buildings, but there's actually a sign out front that says so-and-so roofing something or other, right? Okay, cool. Going to pick it up. Everything seems normal. He's getting the paperwork, and this was first verbal red flag. One of the guys behind the counter actually told me this guy does seem fishy, but at the end of the day, everything's been checking out. So no harm, no foul. Nonetheless, all they wanted to do is give me the two separate receipts for this purchase of this product. Of course, I'm a driver, so we're like, no, I need a straight bill of lading. I have them print that out. I said, you know what? It'd be nice. Go ahead and give me those receipts. The customer at this job site may want those receipts. Cool. They print them out. I go rolling on my way. It's a 5.5 hour drive to Midland from where I was in Sherman. So it was, let's see, I get a phone call from Mike Freeman it was like 1:55, 2 p.m.
I have a question. You said you talked to him once before when you were just getting to the shipper?
Well, okay, yeah. When I was at the shipper, I told him I'd be there at 10:36. So I'm sitting there. They've loaded one segment of it while they're waiting to load the other one. He calls and he's like, hey, what's your ETA for pickup? And I was like, they're loading it right now. Like, I wouldn't have called him because it's 10:56 to say I'm late. I mean, I'm there getting loaded. There was no reason for a touch base. Whatever. It just, at this point in all this, there's nothing that has my eyebrows so far high. I'm cool. Freaked out at this point, and he's like, well, what's your ETA for pickup? They're picking up now. He's like, okay, call me when you leave. And I was like, well, hold on. I'm leaving in 20 minutes. Like, I'm the guy trying to get ahead of, we done already discussed this, and I'm going to tell you, I'll text you when I'm an hour, 2 hours out. It's at work. Like, I didn't want to have to touch base again. I was like, I'm leaving in 20 minutes. Just as a side talk, yes, we have Rogue here with us. She's just off camera to keep a little dialogue, and she actually knows about the situation. So she's keeping it interactive to make sure I don't go too far off base, because boy, am I a rambling man.
And it's kind of nice to be on the other side of the camera for once.
I bet. So yeah, I mean, I thought it funny. This is an eyebrow raised at this point, but I'm like, I've got this before, dude. These guys, they got tracking on your load, and then they're the ones that want to bug you every 5 minutes from 5 different people going, where you at? What are you doing? And we get annoyed by it, especially when we're drivers that don't mess around. I pick up a load, I'm getting it there as fast as I can, yada, yada.
All right. The least distractions possible.
Yeah. So, and I don't need a bunch of extra communication for it.
Right.
Nothing's changed. So, and this load wasn't tracked by any of those tracking devices or anything. So all right, cool. Maybe he's got moving parts. But the point is, by the time I picked this up, I asked this guy verbatim, are you going to be at this job site?
Right. So Michael Freeman was
Like, there was an insinuation that he was going to be there at the shipper. And I was like, okay, typical. When I got there, I was like, he wouldn't be here. But now let's ask. So he verbally confirmed, yes, I will be there at the receiver at this job site. So, you know, I go on telling him, yeah, here's my ETA, even though 2 conversations, including Pat Pryor, I said, I'm going to text you when I'm in. Is it text or do you need call only? Then no, text is good. So I'm texting him when I get an hour out.
But you're only halfway through the run at this point, right?
Yeah, we get about, that was at 2:00, that call. So yeah, it's right as he's double checking. It's 2:00. He calls me, and for clarity, my ETA to this job site is about 5:36 p.m. In Midland. But in retrospect, it's right about this same time. If that was at 2, I'm 3.5 hours from there. It's within the next hour. I get a call from a dispatcher, and she goes, look, I don't know what's going on, but this broker is telling me that they're flagging you for fraud. And I said, well, what are you talking about? She goes, I don't know. I told him your license is good. Everything's good. And then we came back to this retro of, wait, no, he's saying this client is a scam. And I said, in all this fishiness I've been feeling, if this were going to turn out to a scam, my brain thought it's a scam from the top down. So I thought this broker company in person is a scam. and then he is pretending, and he's on the phone with me, so it's no pretending. He is playing all of the points of it. He's the point of contact for the shipper. He's the point of contact for the receiver on any of the information I had before I arrive at shipper.
So I have a question.
At destination.
So you've talked to him a couple times now. Did it sound like the same person each time, were you paying attention?
Entirely overturning, notable, to use the same term, raised my eyebrow. But it did this when he called when I was at the shipper. I was like, who is this? Because I thought he said, hey, I'm checking on this load for Frank. And I was like, is this Michael Freeman? And he goes, yeah, this is Michael Freeman. I go, oh, okay, sorry. I just thought your voice sounded a little different from the last time. But obviously, I don't want to notate it too much and throw this
No,
off. I wasn't trying to make nothing weird. I was just like, okay, I thought that sounded different.
Right. Maybe you hadn't paid attention, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Just so now that he's called you again and the emails come in, now what happens?
Well, the email hadn't come in. That's what we're getting to right now.
Okay.
Because like I said, it was right about that same, we're about 3 hours into this 5-6 hour drive. And dispatch had called me and told me the confusion. I was like, okay, whatever. You know, I'm still driving. I'm going to this spot. It was a few minutes later, I see an email come through on the Load Boss account. And it's from this broker. And it's basically